Welcome to another edition of 42 Straight Years In. I'm a crackhead update. It was three ladies, three females. They were jumping on this tall, slender guy. And they didn't see the two Dallas police officers standing there at security. And all the noise they was making, I don't know why the cops didn't see them at first. I'm on my patio looking at the whole thing. And finally, all the noise attracted the cops. I mean, this guy's not fighting them back. He backing up, and they just swinging on him. It's three of them. As soon as the cops walk up, they say, "Oh, that the police is now. Go ahead and do what you say you was going to do to us." I look at this shit. Ain't this pitiful? You jumped this man. He didn't even fight back. And then you trying to get in a trap with the police. And after the police separated him, one of the chicks, they had to wrestle her to the ground. She wanted to attack him again, right in front of the police. But he hood boogers is a son of a bitch. Y'all know what it is. That's my crackhead update. Get your shanks, and let's get ready to ride. I'm going to respond to a few things been in the comment section. One guy asked me, the convicts, they used to call them house boys, who worked at the warden's house. All the wardens had them. All the warden, assistant warden, all of them had a houseboy. You know, did I ever see one of them do anything crazy? Well, this is how they try to do it. A white warden, he'd get a black inmate that he trusts and he'd been knowing for a minute to work at his house. Now, he'll assume that his wife would not interact with the black guy. Won't be nothing going on between them. The sole black warden he had back in the day, Warden Mitchell, he had a white inmate work at his house. It was just psychological. Now, during that era, when he had these houseboys, if you would have messed with that man's wife or kids and got caught, they were going to take you off the count. They was going to kill you. Simple as that. There's a lot of fresh graves at them old prisons. So a lot of people were dying. And we go there occasionally and work and cleaning it up. Fresh graves all the time. And guess what? They didn't perform autopsies. Was no autopsy. They just take you straight from the hospital, build a wooden box, put you in it, and take you over there and drop you in the ground. And cover you up, and that's it. Do some bogus ass paperwork, business as usual. So you would have got killed. That's what would have happened to you. Man, they caught you masturbating on their wife or their daughter or something, they were going to kill you. You know, Cat had a real pretty daughter. I done sit at the table in the dining room and ate with her. Once I was sitting there eating, and it was Thanksgiving. I'm eating way over at the table by myself. By the kind of job I had, working for Cat, I could eat alone. I didn't have to sit with everybody else. I can sit anywhere I want to sit. Well, anyway, Cat came in with his wife and his kids. You know, he saw me. The chow hall was crowded because it's holidays. Everybody eating a Thanksgiving meal. I mean, a good-ass meal. And he came over and said, "Let me cop a squat with you. Let me get a seat." So his wife and all of them sit down. You know, I told his son when I saw him at Cofield, I said, "Man, I talked to you when you were 14 years old. Me and you sit and ate Thanksgiving dinner," and he remembered that. I said, "I talked to you." You know, I don't know what to say to this man family. I don't want to get friendly with them. If they talk to me, well, I responded. You know, another subscriber asked me, have I ever heard of anybody hollering at the warden's wife? Yeah, one warden's wife, when the inmate, he was a warden houseboy. He served all his sentence. He discharged. And when he was released, she left the warden and left with the inmate. But that's a whole nother video. That fucked him up something terrible when that happened. Guy asked me about in order to get one of those trustee jobs, what was the requirement? mainly these people been around inmates a long time. When they call you in that interview, it'd be maybe 2 wardens and a major, somebody from Huntsville classification sitting there. Man, and they looking at your body language. They look at you when you walk through the door, and they gonna know something about you before they give you one of them type of jobs. Now, those guys had life sentences out there riding the horses, dog boys, or tractor drivers, work at night and all that by themselves out there plying them fields. Had life sentences, 99 years, outside trustee. Ronnie Tisno, he was a tractor driver. He came from death row, and they trusted him to be on a tractor by himself. See, you got to look at back during that era, a guy knew if you went to work, didn't get no disciplinary, you was going to go home. If you had a life sentence, you probably, depends on what it's for, you probably had to get 3 denials by parole. Like John Armstrong, he had life. He came in 1972. He only had to serve 9 years to be eligible for parole. The parole denied him 3 times, but he only served 12 years. The guys back then know they was going home. That's why someone went along with the program. They feel lucky to get one of those good jobs where they ain't got to be in the prison. They can go out. They if you was an outside trustee, they let you go fishing, all that. You can go fishing. They eat better food, all type of privileges. So guys wasn't gonna screw that up. You got to look at that was a different era, and the inmates had a different mindset than what the inmates got now. And that's why those people trust you. Also, I have seen inmate got hit with an axe. They were fighting. Axe stuck in his head. Red Rider rolled up. Old Lloyd was somewhere we was working by a creek. Old Lloyd was over on the other side. When Red Rider rolled up, he gave Johnny Armstrong his .357 Magnum. He handed the gun to him before he got off that horse. He said, "Come here, old Johnny Armstrong, hold my pistol." He said, "Any one of them motherfuckers try to grab you, shoot his ass. I got you. I go your bond. Don't even worry about it. Just kill his ass." Red Rider himself gave Johnny Armstrong his gun. Damn sure did. They trusted guys. Guys then had a different attitude. They said, "Well, I screwed up. I'm gonna do my time and try to get out of here fast as possible." Now, you can do all the good shit you want. You're not going home. Man, I know some guys that earn college degrees. They don't get disciplinary. They participate in every program they have. No, guys do not go home. At least back then, you went home. You might got treated bad. We didn't look at it as being treated bad. That's how Texas prison was. It'd been that way for 100 and some years. You think it was just going to change overnight? It always been that way. It was worse than what it used to be. Sometimes I go to the college when they have the college class, and sometimes they allow me to speak to the students. They encourage those guys to, not to drop out of college, to keep going. Sometimes, I guess prison, you get bored and you say, "Man, I'm tired of going to this class all the time," or you want to go watch a football game, you got to be in class. Anyway, I would watch some of those guys when they come out of college. I love to see them guys. They sit in the day room, they discussing the principles of accounting instead of some dumb-ass shit going on in the prison. I used to sit back and say, "That's how you supposed to be." I escaped prison by books and studying. Man, I could get a National Geographic and put myself on the tundra up in Alaska, tracking a polar bear. I could escape the prison through books. Man, I was a readaholic. Reading helped your syntax, it helped your spelling, it helped your pronunciation, all that if you read a lot. Yeah, I met a guy at the Estelle unit. I was standing there waiting to go see parole when he escaped. It's a white guy, real clean cut. He don't associate with no inmates. He be on that rec yard. He ain't with no gang shit. He work out by himself. He had a badass workout. That's why he was getting in physical shape. He know what he was going to do. But this guy would get out of prison. He was an escape artist and set him up a doctor's office. He taught himself. He know all the medical terminology, and that's how he'd make his hustle. I was standing right there when he escaped. And he know that I got a good ass fucking job. He looked me right in my fucking eye. He had he put on a nurse uniform and rigged his ID up to look like a prison guard ID. He walked right out of the prison and got away. He looked me right in my eye like, say, man, don't do me, man. That's the look he gave me. He looked off. Right then, I turned and headed to the commissary because I know it's a lockdown coming. I jumped in the commissary line real quick. I said, hell, I catch parole later on when this shit is over with. But I've met some real smart guys. And I searched a guy that I used to be real cool with named David Gene Morris. He earned a PhD. He graduated magna cum laude, was a valedictorian at the University of Houston. And college students, man, they complain about an inmate is the valedictorian. So some of the young white college students, they got on the Houston Post. That's when they had the Houston Post. They don't have that newspaper no longer. And said, reason this guy graduated with the highest honors and he the valedictorian, he lay up in prison and study, and he older than we are, which he wasn't old, he was young. Me and him the same age. He was young then. And he said he lay up in his cell and study all the time. We can't do that. We got jobs and stuff. Wildcat went and gave the valedictorian speech for him. He wouldn't let him go because he had a capital murder. Wouldn't let him go. But Wildcat gave his speech. He typed it out. Wildcat read it to the U of H graduation class. Wildcat told him, said, you a damn lie. He don't lay up in his cell. That man work in the fields picking cotton in that hot ass sun from 6 in the morning till we can't see no more outside. That's when we bring him in. Can to can't. That's what they would say. That man is not laying up in a cell just reading books all the time. He do that on his time. And all the other time, he on our time. He got to work in the fields. Now he's a psychiatrist over at UT Southwestern here in Dallas. I looked him up, and I tracked him down, got his phone number. I called him and talked to him. Man, me and this guy ain't seen each other. Last time we seen each other was at Cofield back in 88. Last time me and him we sit and talked. But he was a guy, he earned a PhD. He's smart as hell. Graduate with honors. See, when you graduate a master's degree program, they give you a grant. They give you a grant for that doctorate. Same way with me. Gave me $25,000. That's why I be saying all the time, I had money in prison. I never was fucking broke. Never was broke. I got the crowd shop on lockdown. I don't need to deal with all them stupid ass convicts about some petty ass cookies and coffee and all that bullshit. I got plenty of that bullshit. And I always kept myself in a good ass prison job where I got access to the commissary. All I got to do is go to the warden or the major, get him to sign the back of my commissary receipt. I go to commissary any goddamn time I want to. I ain't got to wait till my cell block going to commissary. I go whenever I want to. I never run out of shit. I hear dudes say, yeah, when you on lockdown, well, that's your dumb ass on lockdown running out of shit. You ain't no convict. You's a fucking inmate. Convict people gonna keep them. I used to call myself having a lockdown bag. I have a big commissary bag with enough supplies to last 30 days. That's about what some of the average lockdowns is. A regular lockdown, you good. It's going to be a week to 2 weeks if they shaking down. Depends on what happened, 30 days is about good enough. And I didn't have to eat out of my cell because I got a good ass job. Hell, I eat from the officer's dining room. If I work in the warden's office, you think I'm going to eat some damn inmate food? Shit, the same food he order, I order me a plate too. Shit, I'm the one to go get the shit at the chow hall. I go get it out the officer's dining room and bring it back to him. You think I'm not going to get me no food? So I didn't have to use up all of my commissary. And I always had contraband. I always had cigarettes. I had access to getting weed. I always could make money. So then if I'm working in a warden office, guys always come to me, man, I pay you $100. You get me move in with my fat butt boy. Shit, come on, it's all kind of hustles to make. I ain't have to sit in no day room and run no little petty ass game, trying to gamble and all that crazy shit. I ain't got to do none of that. I only do it if I choose to do it, just to bullshit, just to be one of the fellas. Guy said, Cat was well, it was a lot of wardens would tell you back then. You try to help yourself, I'll help you. A lot of the strange punishments they had, see, that shit didn't go on your record. So when you go in and saw parole, you had a clean record. That's why some of them old cats never had disciplinary, but he had plenty disciplinary. Shelling peanuts, hanging by the handcuffs, and all that shit. They didn't put that on your record. They had a record of it. It just didn't go in your main file. So a parole officer never gonna see that. They got a record of what kind of punishment you done got and how the frequency of the disciplinary. That way they know how to treat you. You get in cases all the time, he might say, normally give 1 gallon of peanuts. You come in there all the time for some bullshit, he'll give you 5 gallons. If you don't know how to shell peanuts, you finna be out in that hallway all night long and you gotta go to work the next morning. You're gonna be out there all night until you learn how to do that shit. Most of the cases, the rule books back in the day was real thin. All of it pertained to work. All of the rules pertained to work. It was big on work. And a guy was talking about the law of parties. See, in federal law, they have the law of parties. See, poor people don't think about laws until one of their loved ones get in trouble. Average person, I've talked to some inmates in prison that can't even explain to you the aggravated law. And he got an aggravated sentence. He don't even know how to interpret it, how to calculate his good time. He don't know none of that shit. But he is an inmate serving one of those type of sentences. I've seen so many of them guys, man, people just don't keep up with shit. They don't keep up with the legislative laws. They treat inmates bad because majority is from poor families. And inmates can't vote. Just think Texas inmates, about 130,000 inmates. If they all could vote, they could change the election. That's 130,000 strong voting. If they wanted a governor in and he could get all the inmate vote, he damn near would win with 130,000 people voting for him and could get some laws changed. But they ain't going to change nothing because every one of them, they runs for election on tough on crime. You hear all of them talk about tough on crime. And look at all the crime. Look now, man. They killing like it's going out of style. Kids getting killed. It's everywhere this is happening. And you think these people gonna cut you some slack? It ain't happening. It's not happening. Then inmates don't make it no better. That halfway house in Houston houses a lot of sex offenders. They got 5 of these halfway houses in Texas. That's ran by the state of Texas. Man, they have had over 160 inmates escape. Some of these guys got life, some of them on monitor. A lot of them are sex offenders. They ain't got nowhere to go. And a lot of neighborhoods don't want you back in their neighborhood. You're a registered sex offender. It ain't happening. They don't want you to live there. They don't see the prison system try to keep that on the low. They don't want you to know they got 160 of these guys missing. They don't know where the hell they at. If they ever get stopped by the cops and they run a check on him, they'll see he got a parole warrant and they'll lock him up. But until then, they're free. I know when I was released in Huntsville, a guy was going home with me. He went in a store and bought him a pocket knife. They put that monitor on him. He cut that monitor off. He said, I can't make it on this monitor. He said, I'm finna get all the freedom I can, get me some money, turn myself in, get me plenty of women, and go back and do the rest of my time. He said, I ain't finna be on this monitor. I can't do it. Restricted me. I can't go outside the house at this time. I can't go here. You got to make a schedule out. To go anywhere, you got to go to the parole office on a Monday. Make your whole weekly schedule out. I'm going to be at Walmart between 10 and 12. When you tell them at Walmart 10 to 12, if you was to go to 7-Eleven, you got a parole violation. Because you said Walmart 10 to 12. Now suppose your car needs some gas. You go over to one of the Murphys to get some gas. You ain't told them you was going to Murphys. You got a parole violation. You know anything, a squad car pull it up in front of your house, taking you to county jail. Man, a man got to have fortitude and want to stay free, or your ass not going to stay free. You know, I was researching high school yearbook, and it's online. My graduating class from way back then. Over half of them are dead. They didn't make it to be no old person, the elderly person. They're dead. A lot of them died young. I used to be in prison. I'd be thinking about a lot of them, man. We used to have some good times, man, in high school, and man, they didn't even make it. Over half of them are dead. You know, I met a guy at Walmart in Cockrell Hill here in Dallas, and I was with my old lady. Him and his homeboy was together. They watched me on YouTube all the time. They subscribers. He seen my old lady. He thought I'd just be talking. He came up and said, "Damn, School, you got a pretty." I told him I got a pretty old lady. I like attractive women. I don't want no, my old lady don't wear fake eyelashes, fake nails. She don't put all that clown ass makeup on. She pretty. She ain't got to do all that shit. Her sister, her name is Lovely. That is her name. And she look just like her name. And both of them is shaped like Coke bottles. They go to the gym. My old lady going to that gym 4 days a week. And when she ain't doing that, when she ain't on the computer because she working from home now, she over there playing tennis. She stayed fit. She's in shape. And then no artificial implants. She ain't got none of that shit. That's natural. Yeah, she got a natural pretty face. She ain't got to do all the bullshit. Me and her got to go pick out some more furniture. We went, but we couldn't find what we wanted, so we going again. As soon as I finish this video, I'm going to be uploading this video in the car. Because we got to drive. I got to drive way the fucking on Fort Worth Avenue. Y'all know what it is. Get your shanks out. The weather done got hot up here in Dallas. The sun is shining. It's hot. Boy, they coming out the woodworks up here. They're all over the place. But something strange. They not hanging at 7-Elevens over here in East Dallas. The hangout crowd is not there. I don't see them no more. And I go to different 7-Elevens all the time. I don't see them hanging out. But it's just a matter of time before the stimulus money run out. Majority of them is already broke. Just a matter of time. So y'all know what it is. Keep your shanks ready. We might have to move on these fools. Follow me over on Patreon. The link will be in the description. Like and subscribe, and I thank you for watching.